It was supposed to be a quiet Sunday afternoon. The hum of motorcycle engines echoed down a small suburban street, a group of leather-jacketed bikers riding together after a charity event. People turned their heads, some with admiration, others with judgment. But no one could have predicted what would happen next. When a terrified little girl, no more than 7 years old, ran out of a broken front yard, tears streaming down her face, screaming, "Somebody help! They're beating my mama!" What happened in the next few moments would not only change the lives of everyone on that street, but would also remind the world that true strength has nothing to do with how you look, and everything to do with what's inside your heart. The bikers were just passing through, headed home after delivering toys to a local children's hospital. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man named Jake Bear Lawson, had a heart as big as his frame. Behind him rode Mikey, Tina, Doc, and Ghost, all of them veterans, ex-mechanics, and misfits who found family on 2 wheels. As they slowed at a stop sign, Bear heard the faint cry, high-pitched, desperate, cutting through the roar of the engines. He looked to his left and saw her, a little girl, barefoot, dirt on her face, her pink shirt torn at the sleeve. She was shaking uncontrollably, clutching a small stuffed bunny that had lost an ear. "Please," she gasped, her voice cracking. "They're hurting my mama." Without hesitation, Bear flipped down his kickstand, ripped off his helmet, and ran toward her. The others followed, no questions asked. They didn't know what was going on, but they knew pain when they heard it. The girl pointed toward a run-down house at the end of the street. Screams could be heard from inside, mixed with the sound of things breaking, glass shattering, a man's angry voice, and a woman's cry for mercy. Bear's jaw tightened. "Stay here, sweetheart," he said gently. "We got this." The bikers rushed to the porch. The front door was half open, the frame splintered. Inside, a man stood towering over a woman on the floor, her arms raised defensively, bruises already forming. A beer bottle shattered against the wall just inches from her head. Bear didn't think. He moved. "Hey," he thundered, his voice shaking the walls. The man spun around, startled, but before he could react, Bear and Mikey stepped in, restraining him. The woman, later they'd learn her name was Lena, was trembling, her face streaked with tears. She backed away, clutching her ribs, staring in disbelief at the strangers in leather jackets, who had just burst into her house like guardian angels on steel horses. The man, drunk and furious, tried to fight back, but the bikers were trained, not in violence, but in control. Bear held him against the wall until the others could calm the situation. Doc, who'd once been a medic, rushed to Lena's side, checking her for injuries. "You're safe now," he told her softly. Outside, the little girl was still crying. Tina knelt beside her, brushing her hair gently. "Your mama's okay, baby." "You were so brave," she whispered. Minutes later, the police arrived, called by a neighbor who'd heard the commotion. The officers took the man into custody. As he was led away, his angry shouts faded into silence. But the bikers stayed. They helped clean the mess, picked up the broken pieces, literally and figuratively, while Lena sat on the couch, holding her daughter tight. Lena couldn't stop shaking. She kept apologizing, embarrassed that strangers had seen her like this. "I didn't mean for anyone to get involved," she said. He gets angry sometimes." "I shouldn't have." Bear stopped her gently. "You didn't do anything wrong. Nobody deserves to live like that. Not you." Not your little girl. Her daughter, whose name was Emily, clung to Bear's arm, her small fingers gripping his leather vest. "Thank you for saving my mommy," she said, her voice trembling. Bear's throat tightened. He'd been called a lot of things in his life. Scary, dangerous, rough, but hearing that tiny voice call him a hero hit him harder than any punch ever could. Over the next few weeks, the bikers didn't just ride away and forget. They checked in on Lena and Emily regularly. They helped her fix the broken door, replaced a shattered window, and made sure she had groceries. Neighbors who once crossed the street when the bikers rode by now stopped to say thank you. One even brought cookies. Word spread through town. The scary bikers had saved a mother and child from abuse. Lena began to smile again. She found a part-time job at a diner, and the bikers would sometimes show up to eat there, cheering her on. Emily would run out every time she heard the rumble of their bikes, waving wildly. For the first time in a long time, that little girl wasn't afraid of the sound of loud voices or heavy footsteps. She'd learned that strength could be kind, and that family doesn't always mean blood. But healing isn't a straight road. One evening, months later, Lena's ex, newly released on bail, showed up again. He was angry, bitter, and looking for revenge. Lena panicked and called Bear. Within minutes, the roar of engines filled the street again. This time, it wasn't fear that filled the air. It was power, unity, and purpose. The bikers didn't come to fight. They came to protect. The police arrived shortly after, and this time, Lena pressed full charges. She wasn't the same scared woman she'd been before. She had a family now, a chosen one, standing behind her. Months passed. Lena moved to a safer home, started taking night classes, and began speaking at women's shelters, sharing her story. Emily grew bolder, happier. Even learning to ride a small pink bicycle Bear had customized for her. Every Sunday, the bikers visited for dinner. They laughed, shared stories, and became the family she'd always needed. One evening, Emily handed Bear a crayon drawing, a picture of motorcycles under a rainbow, with stick figures of herself, her mama, and 5 bikers holding hands. At the top, in wobbly letters, she'd written, "My heroes." A Bear stared at it for a long time. His rough hands trembled slightly as he said, "You know, kid, maybe we all needed saving that day." She ate the lesson. This story isn't about bikers or about one little girl. It's about humanity. About how kindness can wear leather and ride on 2 wheels. About how courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it cries for help, and sometimes it answers. Lena and Emily's story reminds us that no one should face pain alone. Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected people, and those bikers, they kept their promise. Every year after that, their motorcycle club organized a charity ride for victims of domestic violence, called Emily's Run. Thousands joined, spreading awareness and raising funds. From a single cry for help came a movement of hope. Her closing, inspire the audience. See, if you take one thing from this story, let it be this: be the person who stops, be the one who listens, be the one who helps. Because sometimes just one act of kindness can save an entire life, or even 2. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Drop a comment below. Tell us what part of this story moved you the most. And don't forget to subscribe to Be Kind Always for more real, powerful stories that remind us that goodness still exists in this world. Let's keep kindness rolling. One story, one act, one heart at a time. Because no matter how rough the road gets, we can always choose to be kind always.